Next week, we will be seeing green. St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and if you want to decorate your house with something other than the typical green garland, today we're giving you some ideas. We are getting crafty with Amy Latta. She is sharing some simple hand-lettered signs that make for perfect St. Patrick's Day decor. These are so cute. I'm really excited to talk about these. Why don't we start with what supplies are needed? So if we're going to tackle something like this, what do we need to gather?
Sure. So these are really simple. All you need is a blank wooden sign, and you can use just plain unfinished wood and paint it. These actually I got at Hobby Lobby, and they already have the little wooden frame on them, and they have the whitewash background. They have something to hang them with. So just the plain wooden sign. Then you're going to need a pencil and an eraser, some oil-based paint pens, some ribbon, and scissors, and that's really it.
Yeah, we do not have a lot on this table, so really...
No, not at all.
Just a few things to gather. Okay, so what's step one?
Okay, so we're doing hand lettering, and we've talked briefly about hand lettering before when we talked about my books, and what we're doing for this is something called faux calligraphy.
Okay.
So the look that everyone wants for hand lettering is something called brush script. So if you look at this sign here, you'll notice that within each letter, there's thick parts and thin parts. And the way that you actually do that is called brush technique with a brush pen. But brush pens don't stay on wooden signs. They're usually water-based, so since we're using just regular markers, we have to do something called faux calligraphy. So to do this, we're going to take our regular script handwriting and we're going to make it so that parts of it are thicker than others.
So I like how you have this outline to kind of demonstrate that. So you have the thin lines that are going all around, but on the portions where you want it to be thicker, you draw that second line in for the shading?
Exactly. So all I did was I started with pencil first, and then I traced it with my marker to make sure everything was centered, and I just wrote the word lucky in my cursive handwriting. Then I found all of the downstrokes, and what that means is when I was writing, my pen started by going up and then it came down. So on that downstroke, I drew a second line. Then I went back up, I left that part alone. Then when I came down again, another downstroke, I made another double line. So every time that my pen moved down, I drew two lines instead of one.
I never understood what the pattern was to make it look so professional. You're saying it's the downstrokes that really make it look crisp and clean.
Yes, exactly. That's the secret, is you have to find where was my pen moving down, and that's where you want the letter to be thicker.
Okay.
So once you do that, you write in script, then you draw those double lines, and then the final step is that we're going to color in between those double lines. And what that does is it gives us the effect that that part of the letter is thicker than the rest. And if you look at the examples, you'll see that. And you can see I did all kinds of different St. Patrick's Day phrases. I've got top of the morning, which is one of my favorites. Yeah, and then Amy actually suggested this one, and honestly, neither of us knows how to say it. Does anybody know how to pronounce it? It is actually an Irish word, and it's a salutation that they use, like, you know how we say cheers? It's a toast. So if you're drinking a beverage on St. Patrick's Day, instead of saying cheers or salute, you would say this. I don't really want to try and offend everyone who speaks.
Nope, I got Italian and Spanish, not Irish.
No, me neither.
So the final step then is to add a bow, and that's something you could just very easily do to the top. All right, we want to tease what's coming up next, and all of this information for this project is going to be on your website, so let's plug that.
Yes. So amylattacreations.com. If you go to that homepage, it'll say as seen on TV, and you'll see a picture of these signs. You can click on that, and then you can go right to the project.
I love that it makes it really easy. All right, let's tease what's coming up a little later on in the show. One of your sons is with us today.
Yes, I am so excited. My son Noah is here. He is a chef. I am the crafter. I can make anything beautiful. I can't cook worth anything, but he is amazing. He has discovered a passion for baking, and he is here to share a recipe with you today, and I could not be more excited for you to meet him.
I am going to join him in the kitchen coming up. We'll be right back.